Welcome to Focus in the Noise. Let's talk real conversations, real experiences, no shortcuts. You're watching Focus in the Noise. I'm your host, Ed, and I'm talking to you today about one of those chores. I don't know if you've done it, are about to do it, or need to do it in the near future. Replace an air conditioner. Okay. Sounds daunting. It's not a sexy purchase. It's up in the attic. Hey, it's cooling. I don't need to look at that until it doesn't work. That's one school of thought. Do you go and trade in your car when it's on the side of 290, broke down? No. You try to get some miles out of it, trade it in before that shutdown happens, before you're stranded. So when you have a technician out at your home and it's 15 years old, we're going to talk to you about replacing it. Is it because we're just dead set on sales? No, let's not spend $1,500, $2,000 on an OEM motor from Train Linux carrier that may or may not be in for a month. Stop over investing in parts. It's going to kill your budget and you're going to have to buy that system anyway. So we get a lot of folks around here that like that process. Let's sell them parts until, that there's just more equity for you, and sell them parts, sell them a compressor, sell them 8 pounds of refrigerant. I think that's personally irresponsible. An air conditioner is a sealed system. If you're putting in refrigerant every year, you're leaking flat. And if you don't fix the leak, you're just going to add more refrigerant. It's just like putting gas in your car, knowing that the tank on the bottom is leaking. So what do? We got to get our education on systems. There's so many brands out there. We've heard of so many for so long that, our grandparents bought, our dad bought. So then we're going to go and buy that. Well, guess what? They're not all the same. They're not all even. Your old school, I'll just say it, your old school train unit, you can't stop a train, but you can hear it coming. I just don't feel like that's one of those systems that are what they used to be. So what we're buying on today sometimes is price. You need to buy something that's affordable. I get it. But what is affordable? When you buy just a basic low SEER air conditioner, you're getting BTUs in a box. You're not getting anything that's going to remove humidity. The more humidity I can remove from your house, the better you feel, the higher I can set my temperature. So if I can get my humidity down in the 50s, low 50s, the systems I sell Amana, they do that. They're variable speed. They're crazy. I would love to come out and explain that to you, the differences about what an air conditioner can and cannot do. I'm so tired of going into homes where they've had an estimate or two and they've been sold just on anything that can be sold. Now, as a small business owner here in Houston, I feel like I owe you nothing but the truth, honesty, and let you make your own decisions, not point you in some guided direction because that's where the money's at. You'll find, and I'll tell this little story. Yesterday, I had to go and do an interview for a technician that wanted a position at my company. And the first thing he came out to me and said, "Hey, look, I only run about 3 calls a day. I need my time on my calls. I've got a whole pitch. I've got a whole thing. I need my time on my calls." I was like, "Okay, what does that mean?" "Well, I run 3 calls, but I close on every call. I'm a closer." "Okay, well, what does that mean?" He's like, "Look, folks need to buy a system. And that's just how the industry works. If you're not selling systems, you're not making any money. I don't make any money as a technician," he told me. Guy wanted a base salary and 10 to 15% sales commission because he's a sales horse. He's an advisor. He's going to sit down with mother and father at the table with this massive spiel. Is that what you want? Do you want to be sold? Do you know that the guy sometimes that's at your house is only there on commission? And if he doesn't sell, his truck doesn't move. He doesn't get calls. He gets sent home. A lot of these places have quotas for their guys. You better sell $10,000-15,000 a week or that truck don't move. What does that do to you as a consumer? Well, bet you end up buying some things. Maybe you needed them, maybe you didn't. I'm not saying every company is like that. There are plenty of companies that are offering very good solutions, and I don't hate on it. But I don't want to hear from a guy. I don't want to hire a guy. I don't want to be around a guy that's dead set on what his commissions look like and not what's best for the customer. He was just rattling on about how good he is at convincing. And dude, like, read the room. I'm all star. I earned my stars all over the place in town because I don't do that. My employees, my technicians aren't paid on commission. They're paid well, but I feel like if you send a hungry man into the store and he's starving and his only opportunity to eat something is to get you to do what he needs you to do, that's not a win. That's not a win for my company. It's not a win for my customers. So we have to be cautious about who's at our house. Look at those Google reviews. They're there on purpose. My aunts don't write those. My cousins don't write those reviews. They're customers that have had experiences with us and know that we're going to do the right thing. Now, does it mean we're not going to come over there and tell you, hey, look, 14-year-old unit is killing your efficiency. It's time to talk about a new one. Everything has a life expectancy. Did you know that? If it's 10 to 12 years old, it's not running very efficient. It's getting cold, but it ain't getting efficient. It's costing you money. So we will talk about when it's time to replace something. And, you get folks out here that want to sell $35,000 air conditioner. Hold on. I gotta take a drink. $35,000 for a system, and then you have to have ductwork. There are some Maseratis around this town I would love to have, but $35,000 air conditioner is not one of them. So it is important that you do your homework. You need to look at warranty. How long is this system going to last? When's the next one I'm going to have to buy? If I'm buying cheap, I'm going to buy often. Just know that. And I don't mean cheap in cost. I mean cheap product, cheap quality. If they're giving you a quote and you're looking at your paperwork and you do some research on it, look it up. I sell Amana products. Amana is, to me, the best air conditioner there is. I line it with my company all the time. It's made here in Houston. It's got the best warranty. On my 16 SEER Amana, it's called S Series. It's a side discharge unit. Very, very efficient. I have 2 on my own home. I have 1 on my office. Pulls my humidity down into the low 50s. When I get my humidity down in the low 50s, my energy savings goes through the roof. On peak days like where it's 70 degrees outside, and I do want to kick on the AC because I don't like the AC to not run. A running air conditioner pulls out humidity. One that's turned off doesn't. So let's know that. But I need something that's going to save me some money and last. So what am I looking at as far as a warranty? Well, on Amana brand, it's the only brand that has this. When you buy a new system for the first 10 years, 0 to 10, that warranty is 10-year parts, all your parts. All-Star does 10 years labor, 10-year parts, 10 years labor. Here's the crazy part. If that compressor fails, if the outdoor unit compressor fails, or if that heat exchanger up in that furnace fails in that 10 years, we're not going to call you and say, hey, I need you to spend $3,500 on a warranty compressor because you're paying for labor, you're paying for refrigerant, you're paying for processing fees. And trust me, I see it all the time. $3,000, $3,500 on a warranty compressor. We're going to give you a new unit. You get a free unit replacement in that 10 years if that system goes down like that. That compressor goes bad, I'm bringing out a new condenser. No questions asked. That is the manufacturer's warranty. That ain't even mine. They take it a notch further. If you are the homeowner and you live in this house, say you're one of those guys that live in a house for 25, 30 years. If you're the original homeowner to that home, and you bought that Amana S Series, that unit warranty goes from 10-year parts, 10 years labor, to lifetime warranty unit replacement if that compressor fails or if that heat exchanger goes out. Meaning in 45 years, if the compressor goes out because of whatever reason, you're going to get a unit replacement. That's nuts. And there's only one in town that does that, and that's Amana. I mean, it's crazy. And you think, well, nothing can be lasted that long, or nothing can be warranted that long. Bet. It is. It's in writing, and it's not an all-star warranty. It is a Amana warranty. Amana is a Daikin brand. Daikin brand is one that also uses R32 versus R454. We'll do a little bit more dive into that later, but I can just tell you, do some research when somebody comes to your house and says, what refrigerant goes in that thing? R454 is a blended refrigerant. They take 70% of R32, blend it with something else to make that proprietary, and they come up with a blended refrigerant. I'm not a huge fan, so that's why I don't use it. But I'm also not here to disparage or knock anybody's brand or their units. I don't get ahead by jumping on people's backs, but I do get there by telling you the differences. I will have a whole podcast just on refrigerants, the differences, the oils that are different, the temperatures they can handle, the cost of them. The cost is much different between R32 and R454. They are both refrigerants that are flammable. R32, it was the base. It's been around for a very long time over in Europe. Only in the US did we come up with R454 and blend it and wash it down to something else. You'll get all kind of opposing advice on this and comments. So, and I'm not much for, standing on the woodshed with some dude arguing about refrigerants because I have a life and that is not one of those things. But I will tell you the huge benefits of those in another segment. So buy on warranty. When you buy on cost, you get what you pay for. Okay. Doesn't mean that you have to go out and buy the most expensive thing. I have tiers from 15 SEER all the way up to 19. I'll tell you the advantages of those when I get to your home. I'll tell you the disadvantages. Sometimes your home doesn't qualify for those things. And just like anything, your ductwork. The ductwork is the delivery system of your AC. So you go out and you get that new T from Sonic, $4. They give you a ratty straw that's bent 25 times. And you go to get some of it out. Guess what? You're going to blow up your head. Same thing with your furnace. It needs airflow to work. So you're going to hear a lot more about change that ductwork when you're changing an air conditioner. It's just not your grandparents' AC where you could just throw one in and hook it up to what was there and it works just fine. They were much more forgiving back in the day. Now there are computers guided. There's all kind of things that go wrong with a system that is not properly set up. If you have any interest in us coming out and giving you an estimate, no cost, with a non-commissioned sales killer, give us a call, 855-367-6922. And they're like, well, that's a cheap plug for your AC company, Ed. You're focused in the noise. Guess what? They're both the same thing. Focus is Noise is brought to you by All-Star AC and Ed. Ask for me. I'll come out to your house. If you're in Houston, Texas, you want to speak to me directly, I'll be happy to come out and look at the AC, give you a free evaluation, and give you an estimate. Air conditioners have to be replaced. Not every time and not for no reason. But if they start costing you too much money, they're breaking down, and you don't know, if it's going to be around when the heat kicks on, change it. And guess what, guys? We can finance these things now. We can get you approved for monthly payments, and you don't have to come up with, cash all at once. So there are options. Just ask and call around, do your due diligence. And if you're going to use somebody else, great. Just make sure that you're asking the right questions and you're getting the right information. Ask them right off the bat, is this a, commission sales call? Or you'll know. Everybody knows what a commission sales guy looks like. And I'm not knocking the commission sales guys because they got to get things changed out there. So don't jump on the horse and think I'm knocking on that, because I'm not. But it needs to be sold correctly. I appreciate your time. We'll talk to you at another date. Have a good one.